Good evening, social media. Welcome to Real Fellas Talk Sports. My name is Earl Rush, and I will be the moderator for the show today. We've got a lot to cover, so let me introduce the analysts on the show today so we can get straight to the discussion of all the hot sports topics. We start off by introducing my dear old friend, Larry Abels from Washington, D.C. Larry, how are you today?
I'm good, Earl. How about yourself?
Well, I'm okay. and next from Indianapolis, sports capital of the world, so he claims, David Burnett. David, how are you today?
I'm doing fine from the greatest city in America, getting ready to go view the swimming trials in the new natatorium that was artificially built up at Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm just happy to be here.
Okay. That's a very direct answer. And again, David is sporting another stylish hat.
Thank you.
Last but not least, Charles Chuck Snowden. Another gentleman I grew up with along with Larry Abels. Charles, how are you today?
Go. I'm doing wonderful, but I'm not your dear, long, whatever those words you used for Larry. I didn't get that same kind of setup, but that's fine.
Facts are facts, man. You know, you got to live with it.
Charles, you've been my friend for a long time. What are you talking about?
I know. But
you just haven't been in as long as Larry. That's all. What's the problem?
Words like dear and wonderful and stuff like that.
Facts are facts, man.
I didn't know analysts were petty on sports shows. Anyway, let's start off with the show. We're going to be serious today. I'm not going to try to be funny and all that.
So Kung Fu.
Kung Fu, what up? Finner.
Oh, Gregory. Welcome.
Okay.
What's up, Kung Fu? What's up, Greg?
All right. We're going to start the show off, as I stated earlier, seriously. So I'm going to just ask Larry and David this question. I'm going to not ask Charles this question because it's going to get silly. The question, because I know Charles, the question is, who are your favorites to win the U.S. Open? And I'm sure I get a reasonable answer from Larry and David, but then I'm sure Charles will come up with some crazy stuff. Tiger still has a chance. I'm not even in the mood for no silliness, so this question will not be directed towards Charles Snowden. Larry Abels, do you have a favorite for the U.S. Open golf tournament?
Scott Scheffler, I think that's his name.
David, you?
Scotty Scheffler. He's won 5 times this year in 8 tournaments. That's Tigerific.
Okay. All right. So now we got that out of the way. Charles, who do you think will win this tournament? Just who you think will win, not who has a possibility, not one of those anything can happen answers as long as he's on the court. Who is your favorite for the tournament?
He's coming second too, twice in those in that 8 match too, David. So he's been on a hot streak. But I like Colin Morikawa.
Okay.
Colin Morikawa. Circle that name.
He's
all
good.
Right.
He's good.
Okay.
He ain't Scheffler.
Can't go wrong with Scotty.
All right. Enough of that. Is David Burnett, in your opinion, should Caitlin Clark been put on the U.S. Olympic ladies basketball team?
No. And you know, I say that as somebody who really likes her, happy that she's in my hometown. She's accessible. I've seen a lot of her games, but she's not ready yet. She's not good enough. And in any talk about her helping expand the sport of basketball for women, that's fine, but that's another role. The Olympic Committee doesn't have that specific directive. And furthermore, if she was selected to the team, she would be seen as a token. And I don't think that that's what she wanted. She needs the rest anyway.
Okay. Larry Abels, your thoughts on the situation?
Oh, I don't think she's one of the top 12 players in the league, so I don't think she should get on there. And to David's, David is touched on something I've heard everyone's talking about growing the sport. That Olympics is on the 26th of July. I wonder how many people are watching other WNBA games, NBA games now. I wonder how many will be watching by July, into July. If she hasn't helped grow the league by then, it ain't gonna happen. People might just be tuning in to see her, but as far as the league growing, and again, as David also said, that's not the Olympic committee's goal.
Okay. Well, you had mentioned that they're not. She's not one of the best 12 players. My question is, and I'm not trying to start nothing. I'm just asking out of curiosity for myself. Do they, when they pick the team, do they try to get the best 12 players, or do they try to get the best 12 that's going to make the best team? What are your thoughts on that, Larry?
You ask me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. And I think teams they've had players that have worked out that are just like the men do. But I think the women generally try to get their 12 best players. I'm not sure the men do that all the time, but they try to get players that have played together, in previous years. And they have some sort of, I guess, good unity as a team, generally I think it's the best 12 players, but it might not be the top 12 players. But I don't think Caitlin has got there. To her credit, what I really like about her is the way she's handling it. I think she's very professional. I think that she will get there. Certainly she'll get there. And, it gives her something to shoot for.
Okay. Charles, what do you think?
I strongly disagree with my two colleagues, and I think she absolutely should be on that team without question. And some of the reasons are things like, I'll bet you NBC would like to have her on there. I bet a good businessman, like a Warren Buffett or those kinds of people would want her on there because they understand business and entertainment. And this is all this stuff is. At the end of the day, the crowds have exploded since she hit the WNBA. The WNBA has been around for 27 years and it's lost money every single year. And here she comes. Now they got charter flights. Now they got commercials. Now they're getting tennis shoe deals. They're on television. The ratings are off the chart. Now we're going to a worldwide situation where the cameras would follow her around along with the other 11. How could you not want that? Are you not trying to grow it? I mean, what are you trying to do?
Can I rebut that statement? And first of all, I am a huge Caitlin Clark fan. I've been called an Uncle Tom for supporting Caitlin Clark. I ain't nobody's Uncle Tom, but I've been called that. Let me just say this. She is not ready.
Thank you, Greg.
But she still is a person who we're not even thinking about her. She's played since September. She's had no break. She needs to get in the weight room. She needs to rest. This rest will be the best thing that ever happened to her, having about a month off. So nobody's talking about her, and everybody's trying to put it all on her to grow the WNBA. It's not. She opened the door for the growth of the WNBA. Now it's up to the WNBA to do the right things publicity-wise and everything else. It's not just on Caitlin Clark. That's the problem.
I think with respect to what Chuck said, the only people that should really be upset is NBC because they have the contract, but they made that deal before Caitlin Clark even came.
They already got the money.
Right. So
That's not the only people, Larry, because I'm upset.
No, I'm talking about the only people who should be upset. They have everybody else. If you really like basketball, you'll watch them. If you like Caitlin Clark, you won't watch. I mean, it boils down to that. If she hasn't grown the league enough, raised interest by the end of July, then the league might not be interesting to people. They might be interested in Caitlin Clark.
There's 4 aces. There's 3 of the Phoenix players. That's 7 players on this team from 2 teams. Both those teams are 500 this year. Diana Taurasi, when she was 38, averaged 6 points on the Olympic team last time 4 years ago. She's now 42. It's time to start to groom and get the next wave going. And quite frankly, Caitlin is as good or as better. She might not be in the top 12, but she's in the top 25, 20. 30.
She'll be on the All-Star team.
She's going to be on the Olympic team eventually. I mean, my God, it's not on her. And you think she's basically hold on.
You keep making statements like it's on her.
Let me make this point. If the WNBA cannot show that other people actually care about that people care about the other players, then it's pointless. They cannot just be concerned about Caitlin Clark. They've got to really expand it. Use this as an opportunity to shine a light on one of the greatest players of all time, like Diana Taurasi, like Brianna Stewart.
They've had 27 years to do that. They haven't gone anywhere. They've lost money.
Okay, guys, we got to move
27 consecutive years.
We cannot spend the whole show on Caitlin Clark. I got some more things to ask about, but we can't spend.
That's a good point, Earl. Thank you.
All right. Now, Charles, what I was thinking is, I think we talked about this the other day. The WNBA does not run the Olympics, right? The Olympics is a separate entity. Is that correct, David?
That is correct.
So Charles, so you saying that she's one of the top 25, which we don't know even that as yet. She's great and all that. The Olympics don't care about that. The Olympics just trying to win. They don't care about saying stuff for giving publicity to the WNBA.
Go. They've won 7 straight gold medals. They're 70-3. Go. If you were the 12th player, they would win the gold medal. You see what I'm saying? They're going to win the gold medal. That's not the issue. The issue is, does the game of female basketball want a platform? And do the players, the other 11, want the opportunity?
Well, let me ask you, Chuck.
To be marketable themselves.
Chuck, how do you then convert Caitlin Clark's popularity onto other players? You can't just say blankly without any documentation of her influence. You cannot. We know people are watching her games, but are they watching other people's games? They got to work on that. People need to see Brianna Stewart, irrespective of whether she's playing against Caitlin Clark. That's how you know whether the sport is growing.
Brianna Stewart's been in the league for 6 or 7 years. She played Connecticut.
Well, then let the spotlight fall on her, because nobody's doing any publicity or stories on her. Now they should be. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Charles, if the NBA had decided this year that LeBron is old, it's time to get a young player to play, you literally would have possibly had a heart attack. So how are you going to say get rid of Diana Taurasi, she's old, but you won't say the same thing about LeBron? They could have put somebody in the All-Star game besides LeBron, but they didn't.
Well, LeBron was 3rd team All-NBA. I think he should have been 2nd team. He won the in-season.
Okay. All right.
Averaged 26, 8, and 8. What else are you talking about? LeBron is still one of the best players in the league. Diana Taurasi she's not.
Did she just score 40-something points the other day? Did she just score 40-something points the other day?
31.
Okay. All right.
So did Caitlin. She had 30 twice.
I apologize to the viewers for letting this.
No, the viewers like this. This is good.
I apologize to the viewers for taking so much time to discuss this one subject.
People don't come to see the Temptations to see Otis.
Oh Lord.
They don't come see the Jacksons to see Tito.
Caitlin ain't Tito.
I
know she ain't Tito.
She ain't
Michael either.
Please, the numbers don't indicate that, Larry. I'm sorry.
No. Michael was actually very.
The numbers do not indicate.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. For a casual fan who doesn't really follow the WNBA, but that's what we're talking about here.
No,
I'm advocating being based on merit. That's all I'm advocating.
Right.
I don't care about the casual fan.
You want it to be the way it has been for 27 years.
No, my point is, if they haven't started following the other WNBA players by the Olympics, and it ain't working by putting on TV everything other than the sponsors. They're racking up, but it ain't working for nobody else. But the sponsors, by that time, people should have jumped into all of the WNBA.
Hello, Felllas. How you doing? Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. Maybe we can end this up. Maybe it's going to go longer than what I thought. I didn't mean to spend 15 minutes on Caitlin Clark. Lord,
The
now,
whole world is doing that.
Go on, Earl.
maybe this is an obvious question. I don't know. And I'm not always obvious. It's obvious. I guess I don't even need to ask it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What is all the hyperbole about all this stuff anyway? Is it because Caitlin Clark is a European? Is that what this is about?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Not
I
on
think
this subject we're talking about. I'm just talking about in general. Everybody's just up and roll.
Well, it's a part of it, but it's the main part about Caitlin Clark, because there have been other great white female players. For instance, Breanna Stewart is the most complete player in the WNBA. She's probably the best, if not Asia Wilson. Those are two of the top players, but nobody knows much about them because nobody's paid attention to them. So there are other great white players, and I mentioned Asia Wilson, who's black, but Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird. There have been any number of great white players. That's a part of it. But Caitlin Clark has been shooting from the logo. She's played a game that most women have not played. She is Steph Curry. But when did Steph Curry become Steph Curry? About 5 years into his career. If anybody had put a whole bunch of pressure on a kid coming out of Davidson College, immediately after he left Davidson, he would have been deemed a failure. He became a star about 4 or 5 years later. That's when he became a star. And so we got to be careful about anointing somebody or letting them carry the whole ball. Took Steph 5 years to start carrying the ball.
Nobody's asking her to carry the whole
Yes,
ball.
you are.
I'm
yes,
not.
you are.
You have to light the match. A match has to light the fire.
Okay, gentlemen, we got to move on.
And then
we got to move on.
Great players, David. You keep suggesting
we disagree, Chuck. We're moving on.
Good grief.
Hey, Andrew, how you doing?
Andrew, how you doing?
He might be right.
I think it might be that she's a good player.
Hold on.
She's a good player at the right time for her.
The threes.
Hold on. Perhaps it's related to her sexual orientation. There've been plenty of women in playing basketball now.
No, sexual orientation. A lot of them are lesbians.
And she's not, and apparently she's not.
That's not why the whole world is up in the roar because of that.
Well, he said perhaps that's one thing he threw out there why she might be popular. I think she's a good player. I think she's a good player at the right time. The media has done this for black players too.
Thanks for tuning in, Andrew.
Hey, Andrew, thanks for checking in. I think David is right about something. I think the fact that she pulls that trigger from the logo, and quite frankly, she took a pretty, I don't know how great that Iowa team is, but she went to 2 finals with that team.
They were a pretty good team. And sometimes we forget team.
Right.
Team.
Right, David. And so what that means is, I think an average person, a father with a little girl, they believe now that maybe they can compete in this game because they have
plenty of opportunities to watch Caitlin Clark.
Thanks for allowing me to talk, David.
And the WNBA has made. Hey, let me talk.
You're talking over me.
No, you're talking over me. The WNBA has given her 36 television opportunities. There's plenty of opportunities for dads to show their daughters this new game for them. Plenty of opportunities.
Charles, this is an example of, well, never mind, I'll leave that alone. I don't even know why this discussion went over 23 minutes. The Olympics don't have anything to do with the WNBA. That's all. So that's why should they put her on? Why should they put her on? Why should they put
women's basketball? We're growing women's basketball.
That ain't got nothing to do with. So what? You want them to put her on the team because you want her to be in the series.
No, it's not just
you
me.
Don't care. You don't care about the Olympics.
It's not just me, Go.
Well, all she would be a token, and if she played poorly, with players that don't care about her, who she doesn't know, who she's rarely had practice with, who are experienced at playing together. If she looks bad, that's not a draw for the WNBA or women's basketball. She's got to get better, stronger, and need some rest.
Hey,
She's
Charles,
not a show
Olympic
pony
team,
for
you gotta be
the
one of the best.
WNBA.
She's not one of the best yet, Charles.
Not even close.
College and WNBA is completely different.
But Diana Rossi and Brittany Griner are.
Brittany Griner is one of the best players that's ever played in the WNBA. And Diana Taurasi is a legend. So they're going to be.
We'll put them in.
For instance, I'm done.
No, we got to move on because I'm getting ready. To cut y'all off the thing.
It's a mute button.
This is entirely too long, and I take responsibility. There's no way we're gonna talk 25 minutes about Caitlin Clark, please. Why she ain't on the Olympic team? Because she's not qualified to be on the Olympic team. That discussion should have went 2 minutes. How I went 25, I don't know, and I apologize. Let's move on. Will the Cowboys sign their 3 big players that they're trying to sign? Charles Snowden. I know you don't care anything about the
I don't think they are. To answer your question,
who do you think is not going to get satisfied with their financial compensation?
I think they're going to wait till the season's over and then decide then. I don't think any of the 3 of them are going to be signed.
David, your thoughts?
If the Cowboys want to win, they are America's team, then they need to sign everybody, Prescott, Lamb, and Parsons. But to be honest with you, I could care less about the Cowboys. They get talked about too much. It's almost like a discussion of the damn Los Angeles Lakers. That was for you, Chuck.
Okay, Larry.
I suspect they'll work it out with all 3 of them. Only one I feel kind of questionable about might be Lamb because he may want more money than Jefferson got. But I'm sure they're going to sign their quarterback. They're going to sign Parsons, and I expect them to sign Lamb too.
Okay. Did I ask everyone that question?
I think Chuck needs to.
Oh, yeah, he asked me.
Okay,
you got it.
Good.
Okay. So much for the Cowboys. Nobody cares about them anyway. I'm just throwing it in there. Some people might be concerned. All right. Okay. Our next topic. We went over Caitlin Clark. We went over the Cowboys.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Is Aaron Rodgers not being in camp a big deal, David?
No. Aaron Rodgers is he's just a selfish individual. The Jets got what they paid for. A selfish guy at the end of his career who only thinks about himself. And the Jets haven't been crap for more than 50 years. 50 freaking years. They haven't been anything. So they're not going to be anything with him either.
Hey, was that a spam person or something?
Maybe, I don't know.
It looks strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys make of this right here?
I think we've been spammed.
Okay.
Take that person out.
All right. I don't judge nobody, but damn. Okay. Larry, same for you. What was the question? I got the question. This spam
It's about Aaron Rodgers being out of camp.
Yeah.
Big deal.
So basically, before you answer, Larry. So basically, he told them that he was going on. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Ghost of Gerolitis. All right. Okay. Oh, Lawrence said a spammer. He said he's not a Ghost of Gerolitis said he's
that's a spam. That's a spam, Earl. That's a spam. We need to get him off here. Thanks.
All right. Okay.
Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren.
We should ask Lauren. What did she think about having? Does she want Caitlin in the Olympics?
We're over Caitlin, Chuck.
Get a lady's perspective.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Aaron Rodgers, I was about to.
Okay, David hates me. He says he's a sports fan. You guys act like y'all don't know who Venus Gerolitis was.
I know who Vitas Gerolitis was.
That don't mean
he ain't Vitas Gerolitis.
All right. Well,
okay.
I'll try to respond to Aaron Rodgers because if he comes up with something sports worthy, we'll put it up.
I just don't want to admit dog a potential fan, but whatever. Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers is not showing up for camp. I think is a really bad. It's an unexcused absence. He's going to be fine. He's supposed to be the leader. And I'm not sure what type of leadership he's showing, missing mandatory camp. That's, it's one thing to miss a voluntary camp, but he's missing mandatory camp. He has an unexcused absence. That's a direct insult to the coach to me.
Because basically, if this was the case, David, I'm going to do this thing, but we're not going to choose it. You're going to get fined. So basically, he just said, "Screw it, I'm going to do it anyway."
Well, there's mixed reporting based on what I've heard this today that Salah knew that he was going to be off at this particular time, that he had, they could have changed the date of the required practices. They didn't have to do it this week. So they've surrendered the franchise to Aaron Rodgers anyway. Aaron Rodgers is a prima donna. He's won one Super Bowl. He wants everything his way. It's because it's New York. And like I said, the Jets have been nothing for more than 50 years. Nothing.
Okay.
And they're still nothing.
Okay. All right. So, okay. We've got through it all everything that we were talking about as far as Caitlin Clark and everything else. So let's go on to the NBA. That's why we're here anyway, right? That's the only reason why we come to this show. We claim to be a sports show, but all we really talk about is basketball and football, basically. But anyway, Charles, your thoughts on the series so far? What's your take on the series so far? The Boston Celtics and
Dallas Mavericks.
And the Dallas Mavericks. What's your take on the series? Dallas is down 2-0. What's your take, Charles?
They've held serve in Boston. Porzingis, we weren't sure how he was going to play. He ended up playing really, really well for them for 2 games. And the lobs or what have you, they had been playing in previous games has not been there in this series. I don't maybe because they're guarding the rim, maybe they put a defense in to stop that. But that whole lob thing is not working in this series. So people like Lively and Gafford and those guys have not made a difference like they did in previous.
Why do you think that's not working?
It's a good
Why do you
question.
think the lob isn't working?
That's a good question. Maybe Boston put together a plan to stop it because they saw what it did in the other series.
I'm thinking, I don't know. If I had to take a guess, I would say, Porzingis might have something to do with it. He's kind of tall. He could be
I mean, so is Rudy Gobert.
He could be a distraction going to the basket. I don't know why, but they had 54 lobs all the playoffs before, and they've had 1 this series.
All right.
That's amazing. David, your thoughts on the series?
Boston has a very good defensive team. I think a lot of us forget that Boston has been progressively getting better, even though we've been somewhat disappointed by them. White and Holiday have, look at what they've done on the boards and scoring low. White is just tremendous as a guard blocking shots. Boston's defense hasn't gotten enough credit overall. It isn't just Porzingis because he's not playing a majority of the game anyway. Even the first 2 games, he didn't play the majority of those games. I think he just helped set a tone. Boston has more pressure on them, And even though the two so-called stars are not delivering as well as expected, it's also showcased the fact that Boston has a more complete team. Also, Luka is hurt. He's playing hurt. He's not the same dude. Kyrie, shaky. So we'll see if he does. See if he does better at home.
Shout out to Daryl. Thanks for joining us, Daryl.
Hey, Lauren, how you doing? My girl Lauren's on the show. All right. Okay. All right, Larry, your thoughts on the series so far?
I think the reason, back to your question about the lobs, Boston is not switching. Usually when they come with weak side help, whatever big man comes in and tries to double Luka or Kyrie Irving, they're alley-ooping on them. They're sticking with that person, and if Kyrie and Luka can score, they're going to be able to score, and Kyrie hasn't been scoring. David, I'm not sure. Luka looks the same to me. He like shoots the lights out.
He's still seriously hurt.
No, he's hurt.
He's hurt. He's hurt. No, I'm not questioning that. But man, that dude can shoot. He's scoring to me. Kyrie's the one that they're really who's not scoring, not finishing the way he is. But by them not switching off of either one of them, I think that's taking away their lob game. I think Porzingis has guarded the rim on some occasions, but as long as they can continue to guard those two without switching weak side help, that lob is not there. And it seemed like they had a dedicated strategy not to do that.
But shouldn't we be looking at the fact that Dallas's front line and a number of their key players are not experienced? Boston has the edge in experience and skill. And I think that matters. Other than Luka and Kyrie, who both are not, Luka has injury problems. Kyrie has shooting problems. So they got some problems. So they've got to really transform their game at home tonight, which in fact
they've held serve. Boston did. They beat that same Dallas team, beat a Towns and a Gobert, guys with a lot of height in Minnesota.
It's bigger than them.
They're bigger than them, and experience didn't come into play now. So my question to you, David, is why would experience have something to do with it now? Just a week.
Because Boston has not been given enough credit. There's a reason Boston led the league in wins. There's a reason they won 64 games. Doesn't matter. They won a lot of games. Yet no, hold on. You forget the fact that you still got to play 2 games against the West teams. Every West team you got to play at least twice. And they won the majority of those games. So don't act like they can't win against the West. They're 2-0 against the West right now in the finals. I mean, come on now.
Okay, guys, just give me 1 second. Just 1 second. I got to erase this off the flyer that I have on the Facebook. Our motto is, we don't argue sports, we discuss sports. We're not that show anymore, so I got to take that off because we've been arguing. We have not been discussing sports. Anyway, Charles, did you have anything else to say before you felt that you were cut off and disrespected?
Yeah, I did, but we can continue.
So, can you do me a favor and go on and say it?
It's the David Burnett show, so I'll defer to David.
I'm asking you, did you have anything you wanted to say? I don't have time to be playing games with you. Do you want to say what you want to say?
I'm good.
He was making a good point that they was able to lob against a team a lot bigger than Boston. They was able to do that against Gobert and guys that were bigger and with experience.
Right, he did. So I don't know why. I don't know why experience will come into play now. They've been playing great the whole playoff series. Now they played in the finals. Experience to play.
The other part I was going to finish in that is the others haven't stepped up. Boston has chosen to leave P.J. Washington and Jones and those guys open. They just haven't knocked it down yet. But I believe that they'll be, better in Dallas, and in fact, Dallas is a favorite in this game. So,
well, maybe David is correct. Maybe the other players aren't coming through because they've never been to the. There's a difference between the semifinals and the conference final in the NBA finals. Maybe the pressure's getting to them, and their inexperience is showing in that manner. So David,
Game 2 was close. Game 2 was close.
Man, you haven't heard Lively or the other guy's name the whole series, and I'm not even exaggerating.
I agree.
So either as David said, their inexperience is coming through and they're scared and they don't know what to do, or I don't know what to say.
Boston is not leaving those guys wide open. That's what it is. They're not giving weak side help. If Kyrie and Luka could score, they'll let them both score 30 as long as they can't get 10 lobs in there.
Isn't that a good defensive strategy?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, because the way they do those lobs, they had 54 lobs, like Earl said. I think no other team had more than 10 or 9 in the playoffs.
Besides Lively and the other guy, his name is with his G Gallup.
Gafford.
Is PJ Washington playing? Is he playing in it?
He actually had a decent game game 2.
At 17.
Yeah, he had a decent game 2.
Oh, what about game 1?
No, he didn't shoot well game 1. But you know who else hasn't shot well is Tatum. He has a shot. Matter of fact, the Celtics were shooting horribly in the first half yesterday. They were seemed like they missed about 33s. I might not be exaggerating that much.
But why did they overcome that? Because people like Drew Holiday was underneath the basket playing small ball and succeeding. And you know, and some people didn't think he was good enough to do that. He's a really good player. He's been good his entire career.
Undoubtedly. Very steady.
Larry Abels, who is your pick for currently for the X Factor in the playoff series?
The X Factor, strangely enough, I think I'm always going to say Tatum because he needs to start shooting the ball. But I'm going to go with White because I think he's kind of forgotten about, but he's another very steady player. And I look for him to win 1 or 2 games for Boston. And at this point, if he can win 1 game for Boston, that'll be huge. Okay. So look for White.
Charles Snowden, do you have an X Factor so
far? Porzingis, we didn't know how well he was going to play coming into this series. We didn't know how he was going to play at all. And he's made a difference up in Boston.
David Burnett.
Drew Holiday. He's my MVP. He's my X Factor. He's been an important ingredient for that team.
Well, okay. Mr. Finner also agrees with you. All right. So who's the best player? Who if the series ended tomorrow, which is stupid because it's only 2 games, who would be your MVP candidate?
Who you asking?
Charles.
Drew Holiday.
David.
Holiday.
Larry Abels.
I can't decide. I think the 2 people that Finner has up there, I think it's one of those 2.
Brown has played well.
Okay. Larry Abels, who is the best player on the Boston Celtics team right now?
Right now. This is a loaded question. Right now, I guess I'll still go with Jason Tatum, but Jaylen Brown. There's not a lot of difference between those 2 to me.
Okay, David Burnett.
Drew Holiday.
Okay, what was the question that I asked?
Who's the best Celtic?
Who's the best Celtic on? Who's the best player on the Celtics right now, David?
In the series, it's Drew Holiday.
No, maybe I need to rephrase that question.
Who's the overall best player?
Who's the best player on the Celtics team?
Then Jaylen Brown.
Okay, thank you. So I did phrase it right. Okay. All right. I asked you already, Charles, right?
No.
Okay.
Charles. Tatum.
At the present time, who is the best player on the Celtics team?
Tatum.
Why would you pick him over Jaylen Brown? Just ask.
I assume you're meaning for the whole year type situation, not just.
Yeah, no. Well, maybe I shouldn't say it right now. Who is the best player on the Boston Celtics team. Period.
Tatum.
Who's the best player? I know. I'm not
Tatum.
last week, not 2 weeks ago. Right
Tatum.
now. Okay. Why do you pick him over Brown?
I just think he has from his body of work over time. There was a reason why he was first team All NBA this year. I just think he's the better player by a smidge. Although I like Jalen. I like Jalen a lot.
I'm with Greg Finner as well. As a matter of fact, I don't even understand. I thought he was better than him early in the year, not even later in the year, but early in the year, I thought he was better. I don't know why I would pick Tatum over Brown. I don't even know why.
It's a close call.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
Well, for this series, it's not. It's Jaylen Brown by far.
No,
I mean, for the whole playoff series, all the playoff games, Jaylen Brown has been the better player.
Well,
everybody wants Tatum to be the better player, but Tatum, for whatever reason, every year there's something in terms of his scoring, because he's actually played very well in this series against Dallas, except his shooting has been poor, but other aspects of his game have been pretty good. He's assisted well. He's nearly a double-figure assist guy. He's averaging, I think, 8 or 9 assists a game. He's doing the other things well.
I don't think Jaylen Brown would. I can't say. You never know. Would go 12 for like 50 something. This guy's 12 from 54 from. He's been struggling shooting all series.
He always does.
That's why I prefer Brown over him, because Brown is a little bit more consistent.
Well, Brown has his moments too. I think what happened, I do believe this. When Brown realized he didn't make that All-Pro team, and the guy from Indianapolis did, he been balling ever since then.
Finner has it right.
He's really been balling all year, but he's definitely outplayed Tatum in the last series. And Tatum played decently in the last series, and he's outplaying him in this series for sure.
He's outplayed him all year, man. He's outplayed him all year.
There's a reason he makes $60 million a year.
Well, both of them do.
No, they
don't.
don't.
No, they don't.
No.
But they don't. They don't make. Both of them do not make 60 million.
Tatum's getting ready to get his after this year, Chuck. When his contract's up this year, and he made first team. So
he should have said, "Well, they both are getting ready to make this." Don't say they both make 60 million.
I thought last summer they both signed $300 million.
No, you thought wrong. No. You thought wrong.
No, only Brown.
Yeah,
Brown is the highest paid player in the history of the NBA.
Anybody who follows basketball knows there's only one guy making like $300 million contract. So I don't know how you thought that he had it. I don't know how you thought Tatum had one.
I'm not the sports doctor, Go. You're way ahead of me in basketball. You know your stuff. I'm new to this.
Not sure whether anyone told you this or not, Charles, but sarcasm does not become you at all. So let's move on.
All right, gentlemen.
Trying to clown me and shit. Don't get mad at me because you and David had a scuffle. Don't take it out on me. I thought me and you. What the hell?
What's wrong, Earl?
Okay, I can't. I can't even see the screen.
Well, you're on.
Show anything.
They can see all four of us.
We can hear you.
Wow. What the heck? Okay. All right. So, David Burnett, can the Celtics win the series if Porzingis does not play any more this series?
Yes, because they know how to play without him.
Larry Abels.
Yes, and because they're up 2 games and not already. But I'm hoping Dallas bounces back tonight and the next game.
Charles, can the Celtics win without Porzingis returning to the series?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, that answers that question. Yeah. Okay. Can the series? Now, I was praying and hoping, Larry, that I didn't have no blank out moments today. I went pretty well. I went 45 minutes. All right. So the Celtics can Dallas win? Can Dallas come back and win the series down 2-0? David Burnett.
It's possible. Yeah. I mean, they're a good team. I just don't think they're as good as the Celtics, and I don't think they have the pressure. If anybody's playing with house money, it's Dallas, because they weren't necessarily expected to be here. It was expected to be Denver.
Okay. All right, Larry Abels.
I can't see Dallas beating them 4 out of 5 games.
Charles Snowden.
I still like Dallas to win the series.
Okay. I still like them to win the series too. But I'm not all confident.
You still like it to win it 4 games to 1, like you told me to.
That's impossible. Larry. Come on, Larry.
No, I mean, you went back off of it, even when I gave you a chance.
Well, it has to go 6 now. That's just common sense. You trying to tell the public I don't know my math or something?
Remember, I was predicting 6 or 7, but you were insistent that.
Oh yeah, well. Okay, so I guess you got the one to win. Okay, I picked them in 5. I was wrong about that prediction. Okay, I hope that makes everybody feel better now that I admitted that I was wrong. I didn't know Kyrie was going to sell us out. Kyrie selling us out. He know he can take those guys. Some of his turnovers are just ridiculous. Speaking of turnovers, and he's the best player in the NBA, but Luka be throwing some wild, crazy turnovers. He be throwing away. He throwing the ball. He throws the ball.
You had 8 the last game.
He throws the ball away entirely too much. David, what do you think about that?
He's always been reckless with the basketball, but he's a high risk player who usually can get away with that if his shot is on. But he's a good passer, and he tries to force some things. I understand what he's trying to do, but it doesn't always work.
Okay. All right. Charles, is there anything about the series that we left out that you want to discuss?
No, I think we covered it.
David?
I'm good.
Larry?
I'm good.
Still rooting for a long series. I hope Dallas can win tonight.
Larry Abels. Danny Hurley has won back-to-back college championships, NCAA college basketball championships. If you were him, would you have accepted the Los Angeles Lakers offer $70 million for 6 years? Yes,
70 million,
70 million. Or would you have gone back and try to see if you could win 3 NCAA titles consecutively?
If money was my motivator, and essentially they doubled my salary for the same length of time, I would have taken the money. I think I'm not sure he actually wanted to be there. I think that deal kind of came up very quickly and everything. And obviously money wasn't his top motivator, because I can't see how anybody turns down twice the salary that they're making and walks away from it if money is their motivator. So depends on what my motivation was.
David, do you agree with not agree, because that's not an agree question now. What you had done in that situation?
I think, first of all, let me just look at it this way. I think the Lakers mishandled the whole negotiation with him. It shouldn't have been handled in public like that. They've compromised their search for another candidate. If they'd have done it privately with Hurley and he rejected them, that would have been fine. But now it's just a badly run organization. I don't care that they've won 17 titles. Right now, it's a poorly run mom and pop style operation. And the whole offer to Dan Hurley was ham-handed, poorly executed, and pathetic. You can't do what they did. The Lakers is not a good job at this time. Furthermore, they allowed publicity to go out that the offer was $100 million in 7 years as opposed to $70 million in 6 years. So they reduced the money, or either they lied. The Lakers are not one of the most wealthy teams. They may be the most celebrated team, but they don't have the money situation, for instance, that their neighbor, the Clippers, have. The Clippers have a multi-billionaire owner. The Lakers don't have that. And that might have hamstrung them in making a good enough offer for Hurley.
Charles, how would you handle the situation if you and Mr. Hurley?
If that's who they wanted, if they really, really wanted him, and that's the guy, and I don't know what to trust out of the news media. I don't. Then they shouldn't have lowballed him. They should have came with both barrels loaded. Made it they should have started at $100 million if that's who they wanted.
But that's how they presented themselves. They allowed Woj to present.
You weren't in the negotiations.
No.
I wasn't in the negotiations.
They allowed
what
those.
You heard. You don't know.
No, I'm just telling you what was printed for everybody to do. That came from Woj. Reporters are often steered by their sources all the time, and they presented it to Woj as this explosive, ridiculous.
David, why would the Lakers present that if that wasn't the deal? Why would they present that?
Because they're a goofy organization, poorly run.
Or maybe Woj got the dollar amount wrong.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I know the news did. Well, apparently they lied. So it's not necessarily the reporter. Reporter depends on the sources that they get. And the number came from the Lakers. It didn't come from anybody else. That $100 million over 7 years came from the Lakers.
I don't know.
Oh, yes, it did.
I can't even see their motivation for doing that. They
offered him. It's a bad organization.
Well, I think they offered him. He would have been the 5th highest paid coach or something like that. And some of the coaches that are above him, Kerr, numerous championships, Pop, who's numerous championships and been around. The guy in Miami, good player. The one guy above him that doesn't seem to fit that other picture is Monty Williams that Detroit gave. But I think they gave him an offer, and I think if Hurley had really been interested, I think they might have negotiated that.
He played them. He's got a pretty $9 million a year contract from Connecticut, and he knows the system, and he knows the university.
Something tells me he just didn't want to go there.
I wouldn't either.
$70 million, the money would motivate me. I would go there.
For $70 million?
Yeah, yes.
For how they've treated coaches, no, I wouldn't touch them with 10-foot pole.
As long as the money's guaranteed, if money motivates me, I'm there.
If I'm in the NBA and I'm one of the coaches,
you're right.
I think people getting 16 and 17 million. I'm not jumping at 10 point.
But it's only a few people getting that, Earl. There's only a few people getting more than him.
I just think it's how they presented it. If they had never put a landslide type of offer, that's how Woj presented it. He was essentially the public spokesperson. He was the only reporter that reported any detail about that offer, which means it came from the Lakers, and he also had privy to access to Hurley. He was the only one. So he got played both ways.
So you say that the mix-up was they got him to go out there and say it was going to be $100 million, but that's not really what they thought.
First they said it was going to be a blockbuster. It shouldn't have been presented like it shouldn't have been public at all. If they really wanted Hurley, you don't publicize that like that. Particularly when Hurley has all of the advantage. He already had an offer. He already had a contract. He was just using the Lakers to get more money. I think he's going to make about $9 million a year now in Storrs, Connecticut, where he knows he's been there. He's been there for 5 years now. He's doing all right. and he wants three-peat.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Charles might remember because he kind of remembers stuff I've been saying. When they first hired Palenka, I said he does not know what he's doing. When they made those trades last year and their team went to the finals after the trade, everybody was jumping on the wagon. I still said he does not know what he's doing. And as David stated, they're poorly run because they don't have a general manager. And you know, Jeannie Buss is one of the sweetest women in the world, so they tell me. I don't know her personally, but she don't know what she's doing. If you got a guy you want a coach, as David said, you don't go privately. First of all, you don't know the left hand know what the right hand's doing. That's just a rule in life. First of all, you can't lowball this guy. And I know $11 million, 11.5 doesn't sound like a lowball when most pro coaches aren't making that much money. That's Larry said. Everyone's not making that much. But if you really want the guy, you got to go out and give him a Godfather offer. That was nowhere near a Godfather offer.
Well, that's what they didn't do. They didn't make him an offer that he couldn't refuse. But I think really when you look at the coaches I named that are making more, other than Monty Williams, all of those guys are pretty established and have done it in the pros as opposed to him doing it in college, and they doubled his salary. I mean, that's not that cheap, but you would expect a negotiation. I think if Hurley really wanted to be there, I don't think it would have just been over that weekend. You know, I think they would have been going back and forth. I think he turned down Kentucky's job, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think he kind of wants to stay up in Connecticut.
Lakers should have known they didn't do their homework. The Lakers just don't impress me at all. And I know they got 17 banners. I know that. I got it.
They have 17 banners, but you're not impressed by them.
No, I'm not impressed by the current makeup. Jerry West is not walking through that door at all. He was the best general manager that they ever had.
That's a timely statement on him.
Okay. All right, guys. I don't think all the viewers tuning in today, it's time for us to go. We're going to have closing remarks. We do have a couple of minutes. Do you guys want to discuss your thoughts on Jerry West before closing remarks, or is someone going to use that for a closing remark?
I certainly have some thoughts about him.
I have thoughts about him as well.
Okay, let's talk about Mr. West before we go on to closing remarks and end this show in a reasonable hour. All right, Charles Snowden, what were your thoughts? If you remember anything about Jerry West?
I was surprised to see Jerry go today. You know, we're starting to lose some of our heroes from when folks we were growing up, and Jerry was definitely one of those. And it was tough news today. He was Mr. Laker. I'm a Laker fan, and you know, rest in peace, legend.
Larry Abels.
Yeah, once I first started watching basketball, he and Oscar Robertson, when they would come on TV, I just thought they were just so dynamic. You know, Oscar was more back you down and get the short jumper. Jerry just had the purest jump shot. And we've had many great players that have shot in jump shots well, but he still ranks above among the best, as far as I'm concerned. You know, also great as a general manager. Rest in peace, Mr. West.
Okay, David. Remember, we're getting ready to close the show. So,
Jerry West is one of the great figures in the history of the NBA. Great collegiate player. Went to the Final Four championship game in 1959. Went to the Olympics. Won a gold medal in 1960. Took the Lakers to the NBA championship series, I think 9 times. They won 1. He's just a great player as an executive, one of the best of all time. He knew how to pick players. Wasn't a good coach, but he was a great executive, and he'll be missed sorely. Look at the Lakers; they haven't been the same without him.
Did he have talent when he was coaching? Was he not a good coach, or did he not have any talent?
I think he was the coach for a year and a half, maybe. Kareem was there. They just didn't have the support. And then Magic
But
came in
he thought Pat
79.
Riley would be a better coach, and so he moved up to the front office.
Well, Pat Riley was not immediately the coach after Jerry West. He was not. Pat Riley was 2 coaches after that.
Was the guy that got hit on the bike or something?
He was one coach
Yes.
after that.
Yes.
Okay.
Pat Riley, by the way, was a color analyst for the Lakers at the time.
Thank you, Phyllis. Okay.
Phyllis. Thanks, Greg, CJ, the whole crew. Thanks for checking in.
I don't know why they don't talk about Jerry West when they talk about all the great guys. His name's never even mentioned. I don't know why. I have no idea why. He was one of the greatest guards I've ever seen play. And when I first was watching NBA basketball, besides watching Oscar Robertson and Sam Jones and Casey Jones, my favorite player was Jerry West. He was the only I don't really want to admit it, but he was the only European that I even pulled for really liked back when I was growing up. This guy, he's the best of the best. And I was getting ready to ask a question, which was, I think if not, I'm going to ask a question that I think I really shouldn't ask, but the question was, do you think that they will? It seems like it's insensitive. Do you think there will be a new logo for the NBA, or they will keep it in his honor? Charles?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know.
Larry Abels?
See no need to change it.
Is that insensitive? Another insensitive question?
No,
Not necessarily. I mean, but I see no need for them to change it.
Do you think they will change the logo, Dave?
I think they shouldn't. Just keep it the way it is. It's just a logo, and they can build around it if they want to make changes.
Okay. Closing remarks. Charles Snowden, do you have
I
any?
don't have any. I don't have any this week.
Larry Abels, do you have a closing remark?
Nope.
All right. David, you said you have something you wanted to talk about, right?
I just want to quickly give a shout out to Joey Chestnut, who will not be able to compete in the annual July 4th Nathan's hot dog eating contest. But Joey Chestnut, who lives about 10 miles away from me, who's become a Hoosier, he has set up something with Kobayashi, who used to be one of the great competitive eaters. They're going to do something in September, I think on Labor Day, and it's going to be on Netflix. Joey Chestnut, one of the great competitive eating sportsmen of all time, if not the greatest. 16 championships in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Okay. I know they have a major eating league, but we got to end the show. We'll say this for the next one. I don't really consider eating hot dogs a sport, but it's not the time to go into that right now. I want to thank everybody for coming on to the show, and I hope everybody has a very blessed and productive day. We'll see you next week where Charles Snowden will be the host. So everybody tune in if you get a chance. Also, you can check out Larry Abels and myself on The Sports Doctor is in on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube Live. Thank you, fellas. Hope everybody. All right.